Indícame dónde quieres encontrarme, que voy a llegarte sola y sin miedo a enamorarme. Tú sabes bien que yo soy a fuego, me pierdo en tus ojos en ese juego. Me tientas, me llevas, me envuelves en tu ritmo y siento que no hay nadie más que yo en tu instinto. Si me llamas, sabes que voy volando, sin mirar atrás, el reloj ignorando. Tú y yo en la noche nos perdemos, bajo la luna juntos, el mundo lo vencemos. I just wanna hear it. He viajado por el mundo, pero no hay nadie como tú, no. Mira, papi, deja el orgullo. Sabes, baby, que mi corazón es tuyo. He viajado por el mundo, pero no hay nadie como tú, no. Mira, papi, deja el orgullo. Sabes, baby, que mi corazón es tuyo. Es que yo fingía sonriendo en la mentira mientras tú la devorabas y mi pecho se partía. Yo me derretía, tragando agonía, con tal que no supieras que sin ti la noche es fría. Esta tormenta en silencio, no. Recuerdos persiguen, no. Y ahora tu fantasma sea dueño de mi cuerpo, pero no te siento. He viajado por el mundo, pero no hay nadie como tú, no. Mira, papi, deja el orgullo. Sabes, baby, que mi corazón es tuyo. He viajado por el mundo, pero no hay nadie como tú, no. Mira, papi, deja el orgullo. Sabes, baby, que mi corazón es tuyo. Aunque intenté alejarme, vuelvo a ti. Este destino no podemos huir. Entre sombras yo quiero repetir. Solo contigo yo me siento viva, baby. Esa tormenta en silencio, no. Recuerdos persiguen, no. Y ahora tu fantasma sea dueño de mi cuerpo, pero no te siento. He viajado por el mundo, pero no hay nadie como tú, no. Mira, papi, deja el orgullo. Sabes, baby, que mi corazón es tuyo. He viajado por el mundo, pero no hay nadie como tú, no. Mira, papi, deja el orgullo. Sabes, baby, que mi corazón es tuyo. ¿Será que caíste del cielo? Me fijé en ti, no te lo niego. Algo de ti me da miedo. Se siente raro porque a la vez lo quiero. Desubicada estoy. Ya ni sé quién yo soy. Esto es un rompecabezas y tú eres la última pieza. Invítame a un baile, trata de enamorarme. Convencerme no es fácil, no quiero entregarme. Soy fuerte pero frágil, ¿quién puede entenderme? Pero contigo, ay, ay, ay. Ay. Invítame a un baile, trata de enamorarme. Convencerme no es fácil, no quiero entregarme.
What's up, guys? How are you? It's Thursday, and we're continuing this awesome month-long homage, you know, for all these wonderful ladies that are doing their thing, you know, whether it be in music, whether it be in business, you know, like we had Melissa Rose yesterday. Thank you, Mel, for being here. It was an amazing talk. It was definitely very interesting. You know, we had a lot of fun, a lot of comments, a lot of questions, and a lot of good times, good memories. And the conversations before the show and even after the show were super awesome. And that's what it's all about, having these conversations and having conversations that actually impact people, in a positive way. So I'm very, very grateful for that. And for those that are tuning in for the first time, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is Lights Camera Accion, season number 2. Let me see if I get this right. Episode number 6, correct? Yeah. You guys, anybody know? I already forgot. Huh?
I don't know, man.
I always forget. Anyways,
Whoa.
Thank you guys for being here. And before we introduce the next guest, I want to read her a little something that I wrote for her. And then we'll, bring her out and everything. But again, thank you guys for tuning in. Say hi in the chat. Oh, damn, there's people already commenting. What's up, guys? Oh, we have people from Halifax. That's awesome. Saludos to Esperanza, to my brother Maron. Sorry, I'm probably saying it wrong. To Gina, to everybody else that's watching that hasn't commented yet or said hi in the chat. If it sounds like I'm rambling, it's because I'm, like always, I'm nervous, because there's a lot of moving parts behind these things, and it's live, it's not pre-recorded, so we got to do it. So if you guys can, let me know how it is in the chat. Let me know if the volumes and everything are good, and as long as everything is good, then I'll start with the introduction. And yeah, Mario, volume's good. Everything's good.
Blessed so far.
Awesome.
Good.
Okay, so let me just read what I got to say, and then we'll introduce this lovely guest who actually drove all the way from Halifax, and she just got here. Boss moves. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, today's guest is Tatyana D'voce, a talented Latin singer and songwriter whose sound is as dynamic as her story, blending tropical rhythms with urban pop and rock influences. She creates a style that feels fresh, powerful, and unique, just like herself. But this conversation goes a little bit further than beyond the music. We dive into her personal journey, the highs, the struggles, and the healing that has shaped her into the woman that she is today. She opens up about the role faith has played in her life, how trusting God's purpose has guided her path, and how those experiences influence the music that she creates today. We will also talk about some of the new releases that she has and the new things that are actually coming along in the near future, and the inspiration behind her evolving sound and what's next as she continues building her artistic journey. Damas y caballeros, without further ado, my good friend Tatyana D'voce. What's happening?
That was so beautiful.
How are you?
I'm so good. You did such a good job with that. Like, I know we were just talking about like the nerves and stuff, but like you just do such a good job.
Thank you.
I'm doing really good. Thank you. I did drive here from Detroit, and it was quite a difficult journey, but anything that's worth it is difficult. So I'm glad that we made it.
Awesome. Again, thank you for being here. Let me just shout out
course.
my lovely co-host that's back with us, Mario. How are you, brother?
Yes, sir. Great to be back. I really wish I was here last night. I'm sorry, Melissa Rose. I wish I was here with you guys, but I'm sure it was a great conversation. I gotta check out the replay.
It was definitely awesome. But again, thank you for being here. Thank you for making it back with us today.
Yeah.
But Tati,
miss it.
go ahead. What were you saying?
Couldn't miss it.
Oh, couldn't miss it. Awesome. But anyways, Tati, let's do. I'm gonna do a. 1 second. Shout out to everybody in the chat once again. Thank you guys for commenting. That's awesome. I'm gonna quickly just ask you some rapid fire questions. To get the ball
okay.
rolling.
Yeah.
Whatever comes to mind, just go for it. And if you want, just to add a bit more nerves, you can do it all in Spanish. I'm
Ay,
kidding.
Dios, no.
I'm kidding.
Oh my goodness.
But okay, you ready to go?
Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay, these make me nervous because like the way my brain works, like these rapid things like create anxiety, but we'll do it. Let's go.
It's okay. You got this. Ready?
Yeah.
What's your favorite color?
Blue.
What's your favorite food?
Caldo de res.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Where do you live now?
I live in Detroit.
Awesome. What's your favorite type of weather?
Spring and fall. Fall is like my ultimate favorite, but I still love spring.
Okay. What do you collect?
What do I collect? Journals. Really random, but journals. Don't write in all of them, but I collect them.
Okay. Awesome. Is your bed made right now?
Yes, always.
Okay.
Always.
What is one of your hidden talents?
I'm a really great cook.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't promote it, and I don't even like talk about it like on my socials at all, but yeah,
I think you should, huh? That's another.
It's another stream of revenue, another stream of like audience people. But yeah, I hosted Christmas this year for the first time for my entire family, and they were like all really impressed. And it is hard to impress them with food.
That's a good thing. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
What are you most looking forward to?
In life or in music?
Whatever prompts to mind.
Oh my goodness. I'm
Rest to
looking.
life.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to like a family in the future.
Awesome. What never fails to make you laugh?
My husband's corny jokes.
Nice. Dun, 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 dun.
Some of those dad jokes, I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah, but you married him, so you're stuck with him.
Exactly.
Shout out to the hubby.
Yeah.
He's here in spirits.
Yes.
Would you ever try stand-up comedy?
No. I feel like my husband would be really good at it because he's an excellent communicator and he's just so funny. But for myself, like I already have enough like anxiety just talking in general. I have this like dry humor to myself, so we might get a little bit of it tonight, but I just don't think I could do stand-up comedy.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll be fine. Do you believe in soulmates?
I believe that God has a specific person for you, but I don't necessarily believe in soulmates, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
No,
Yeah.
Does it? Do you have a bucket list?
I'm creating one now.
Got
Yeah.
you. Would you ever skydive?
Ooh, no, I'm afraid of heights.
Okay, no
Yeah.
problem. You passed. 100 out of 100. Good job.
Yay.
Anyway, so let's get into the show. Tati, so if you don't mind, let the viewers know who Tatyana D'voce is. You know, where you're from, some little memories, you know, when you were coming up as a child, you know, things that you did with the family. Just let everybody know a little bit of who Tatyana D'voce is.
Yeah, of course. So Tatyana D'voce is a singer-songwriter, Canadian, Ecuadorian. I like to put the Canadian first because I am second generation born here, but my grandparents are the ones that were born in Ecuador. I do Latin music predominantly, but because, you know, you kind of briefly talked earlier, there's a lot of influences. My family was very influenced with so many different types of music growing up. We listened to everything from pop, rock, we listened to Shania Twain, we listened to Motown, we listened to obviously, you know, all the Latin influences, Elvis Crespo, El Jeffrey is one of my favorite merengueros. So yeah, it's been quite a journey. Besides singing, I went to school for accounting, so I kind of have this like Hannah Montana best of both worlds, which kind of answers your question on what I grew up watching. Like I was very much a Disney kid, so I am very excited about the Hannah Montana like 20th anniversary. Like you have no idea. Jonas Brothers, like that was kind of like me in my teenage years. But yeah, that's a little bit about me. And you know, right now I have a very interesting like family dynamic with my parents and with my siblings. We had a very Selena adjacent lifestyle, and what I
Okay.
mean by that is just like we had a little family band, we traveled, and you know, did all of the very similar things that she did.
Yeah, stuff that I also experienced.
Yeah.
You know, we've known each other for many, many years.
Many years. We're gonna get into that because
of
y'all are important in the story.
Of course, my parents, especially our dads. You know, we've gone a long way, and it's crazy how we end up back. You know.
Yeah, there's
Everything's
always like full circle moments,
Always.
and I think that's also too what I'm excited about is just to continue to experience full circle moments and just seeing like why certain things happen in the past and how they connect now. It's very cool.
100%. Oh, let me fix my hair. You know what sucks when you're losing hair?
You look beautiful, bro.
No, but there's only so much you could fix when there's not enough hair left. You know? Oh man, I think I gotta go back to Turkey. Well, not go back, but go to Turkey and get it done.
Okay.
You don't need to fix what's not broken, bro.
Oh, well, my hair is broken, definitely broken. Anyways, yeah, I'm excited to have you on again. It's gonna be awesome.
Thank you.
But thank you for answering the first question, Mario. Let's see if you have anything you want to ask the lovely Tatyana.
No. I'm just trying to get into the groove of things. Just the fact that you brought up the fact that you're a Hannah Montana era. I don't know, was Boy Meets World a part of the Disney? No, that's something different, right?
No, yeah. Boy Meets World was part of like Disney universe,
Yeah.
but it was just a lot older. That was probably like more.
Don't
80s.
say a lot older. Did you hear how she said that? Did you hear how she said that, bro?
Sorry. I feel like it just I wasn't a part of it, so I feel like I missed out. Like I didn't know who Corey and Topanga was until maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah, Brotherly
What?
Love.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
City
Super.
Guys, Saturday morning. Do you remember Saturday mornings, bro? I don't know. Am I dating myself right now? Because Saturday mornings
I
used
think
to
we're
be
all dating ourselves.
City Guys. What was it? City Guys. There was a basketball show. I forgot what it was called. But there was like a lot of really good shows on the Saturday morning lineup and the Friday nights, right? With Family Matters,
Oh, okay.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Oh man, what a time to be alive.
Yeah.
But then you're from the Hannah Montana
I'm
era.
from the
That's like
Hannah Montana
immediately
era.
after that.
Yeah, and I mean, even like That's So Raven, Lizzie McGuire, like that's kind of me. It was like the thing with me and TV is I became obsessed with TV because of the fact that I wasn't allowed to watch it when I was like super young. So as soon as I was, old enough to take care of my younger like siblings, all we did was watch TV, and I just binged all things Disney. So yeah.
Okay, seeing that you relocated to Detroit,
Yeah.
what is it about Detroit? Why did you make Detroit home?
It's actually my husband's fault. He's actually from Michigan.
It's always our fault.
It really is. I mean, he brought me there, and it's not my first choice, but I've made it home, and it's been actually a very wonderful experience. We were living originally in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and if
J. Cole's hood, right?
Yes. I never ran into him. People ask me that all the time, and
Yet.
I'm like, nope, not yet. I really enjoyed North Carolina. I still have like lots of my good friends that are from there, and I had a wonderful church experience over there. So I consider North Carolina.
Elevation?
No, it was called Manna Church.
No, wait. Stephen Furtick is from Monk's Corner, something like that.
Steven?
Yeah.
I thought he was from Elevation.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, I think he's from, like, Monk's Corner, North
Oh,
Carolina. I remember him and Charlemagne the God had something
gotcha.
like that. Sorry, completely
Yeah,
random
that's okay.
tangent.
I do think that they have a church like close by to where we were at, but yeah. So I always consider North Carolina more of my home, but Detroit's been great. Yeah.
Did you ever feel like you needed to take your shirt off, twist it around your head, spin it like a helicopter?
No.
Do you understand the reference?
Yeah, but like no, not really. It
Petey
did-
Pablo, shout out Petey Pablo.
Yeah, it really did. It really did take me a while, even just to get used to like America in general. Like the moment that I moved, I had like a culture shock. I had like so many different things happen, but yeah, it's been great.
Sorry,
been
bad
great.
habit.
No. Hey, it's a learning experience all the time. We have the whiz behind the controllers.
100%.
No, thank you. So one thing too that some people don't, I guess, realize in a way. You know how sometimes a podcast they have in-ears?
Yeah.
When you have the headphones, you'll notice when you're not. Right, so since I'm the only one with the headphones, I notice
Right.
it. So that's why I'm always like. So for those that don't know, whenever you see me on the mic go like this, to them it's because I need to get close to the mic.
Yes.
Sorry, it's not that I'm weird.
It's a service.
Grateful
No,
for
it's a
you.
service for them so they can hear what we're
Grateful.
talking about.
Exactly.
Hundred-
I was actually listening to a video today on YouTube, and it's like the audio was on the left ear and everything else was happening on the right ear. So
Oh man,
Oh damn, it happens. It happens sometimes.
it does. Technical difficulties.
Absolutely.
grateful for you, bro.
Yeah, thank
man. I'm
you.
grateful for all of you guys, especially with the people in the chat. We have some people. Hold on. We have a bunch of people commenting.
That's exciting. That's very exciting.
Awesome,
Hello to
awesome.
everybody in the chat.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Make
Yes,
sure
thank you for
uh,
tuning in.
You say hi in the chat. Follow
Stay
the
for the whole
page.
thing
Yeah,
because
stay for the whole thing.
there's gonna be some cool conversations.
Super cool
Somebody on there's
conversation.
talking about Saved by the Bell. What a throwback.
2000s.
The fact that Mario Lopez is still making content and still relevant to Gen Z,
That's
that's a
impressive.
major thing.
That's actually very impressive. To stay relevant for multiple generations, that is a whole job. A whole job.
100%. So Tati, let's go with these questions.
Yes, ask away.
You want to start with your humble beginnings, or you want to go into the music, or whatever? Let's go with the flow.
Yeah, just go with the
Whatever.
flow. Yeah.
Okay. So what are some of the most memorable moments that you remember as a childhood? That you went through, I guess, with family. Things that I guess you always remember doing. Things that mean something to you.
Yeah, I remember doing the cultos. Like at home, we always had. So I grew up in a Seventh-day Adventist family, and like we always worshipped God, and so I do vividly always remember just like sitting down and reading the Bible, and my dad would talk about all the different stories, and we would learn so much, and we had a lot of wonderful conversations, and I'm very grateful for that upbringing because it we'll talk about the full circle moment here in a second, but I remember that of course practicing so much all the time. Something that I recalled on the way here, I remembered like in this one neighborhood we lived in, we weren't allowed necessarily to go out and play with the kids. Not because it was anything bad. It was just because we were practicing for a show every single weekend.
Yeah.
And the kids would come by and they'd be like, oh, can, Tati, Talia, Miguel come out to play? And my dad's like, no, they have to practice. And I just remember them being like, practice for what? Like, what are they doing? And they're like, no, they have a show. Like, it's a very important show, blah, blah, blah. And we actually ended up having that show invite all the kids from the neighborhood to be our backup dancers.
That's amazing.
And that is like something that lives just rent free in my head, because I'm just like, I feel like in other stories people get like either bullied for their art, but us, it was like we were always very celebrated and always like very supported, and we were Tatyana and friends at the point.
How old were you when that was happening? Do you remember?
I had to be, I think, around 10 or 11.
Okay.
Yeah, like right before middle school. I think we were still like in elementary, and I was singing all the time in the festivals, and I was singing at school. And so, everybody just knew that we were like a musical family, and they just kind of wanted to be part of it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What age did you start getting that little interest in the music?
Oh my goodness, that wasn't even on purpose. I think I was 4 or 5 years old, and this is where you guys come in, because my upbringing was very, very religious, but also very encouraging in like talents and arts and stuff. But it really had to be my dad that saw like a little bit of like that talent to just entertain. Not necessarily singing or dancing or anything specific to music. It was just like, if there was a camera, I wanted to be in front of it, and I was dancing and I was just making people laugh. And he was like, I think you would be really good on stage. Enter your family. And I actually had the very first opportunity to be on stage at La Plaza Latina at 5 years old, not knowing anything that I was doing. And my mom trained me. She's like a natural performer because she loves to dance. She cannot sing. Nobody.
Shout out to mom.
Shout out to mom. I think she's watching. She cannot sing. Love her to death, but cannot hold a tune. My dad can kind of sing a little bit, and he has a little bit more musical talents, but still, it was not like a very prominent thing in our family. And they just kind of like pushed me on stage, and they were like, I think you would be really good at this. I think this will be really good for your self-esteem. You're struggling at school. You look kind of depressed and down. So I think this will be good for you. And
awesome.
I at that moment, I really did fall in love with just being on stage and making people dance, making people happy. And it was all literally thanks to like you guys and your family and your dad. Like, your dad has known my mom since she was like 15 years old. So we go way back.
That's crazy, man. That's so cool. And again, it's even though we've known each other for a while, again, it's for those that are watching and stuff, hearing it like this in this way, it's different. Right. It brings, I guess, more clarity, because obviously, again, when we're young and stuff, we don't remember these things.
Not at all. No.
The fact that you said that, it especially when you said that you performed at the Plaza, I remember in those times there were live performances back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We used to have live singers. My father used to do also live events on the weekend with bands. And used to have magicians there for the kids.
Yeah. There was so much entertainment, and I
there
loved it.
There was so much stuff there, and like we had also at one point we had a child daycare. So all the parents would come and eat, and they'll leave all the kids there.
No way. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of holes in my memory, so I'm just like, now hearing that, I'm just like, oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And there were times where we would lose the keys for the children's daycare, and we would take turns going over the wall, right, to get in. Yeah, and we never broke our leg or anything, but
wow, wild stories.
Yeah, it was little things like that. Yeah, man, It's our home, It's
yes.
where we started.
Yes.
Humble beginnings.
Yes.
And
I recently, I think it was just this past summer, went to go visit your mom. I had a juice, and I was just sitting there with my cousin, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is where it all started. Because it was really that moment that I was like, I love this, and I think I'm going to do this for a long time. And we're still kicking around. We're still doing it.
My mom just commented. She said, "Mi tati," and she put a whole bunch of roses and a kiss. And
Qué linda, yeah. Oh my goodness, I love your mom. Besitos.
But yeah, it's definitely, yeah, man. The Plaza holds a very special place to many of our hearts.
Yes.
Obviously, us
Yes.
having been raised there, in different phases of our life, it's definitely awesome. So, Mario, I don't know if you have a question for the lovely Tatyana. Go for it, my friend.
No, just thinking about like what you guys are talking about, your experience being at El Mercado, right?
Yeah.
Is that something that's missing now? Because I didn't know that they had childcare, they were doing shows and stuff, and
I don't think
I mean, was it
normal now.
free at that time when they were doing like performances at El Mercado? Was it free?
So the during the day, everything was free. The whole night stuff, that was more in the weekends. That was more for adults, right? So obviously like,
Yeah.
they had a bar there and stuff, and I'm pretty sure my father did charge. Or actually, who knows? He either did charge to get in, or he probably didn't.
What's changed? Like, why don't we
Um,
have this now for the community? Like, was it rowdy or something? Is that where they stopped?
No,
But I feel like those are the type of things that we need to encourage in the community. A way for us to gather, or something for everyone to do. If there's childcare available, why
There-
did that stop?
there's
That's a
good
question. I'm not
there's
sure.
many reasons that I believe, and I think I could say it because I've been there since I was 4 years old, and I'm 36 now. So
Yeah.
I saw a whole bunch of things happen,
Mm.
and I saw a lot of patterns, and I see a lot of things. And one thing I could say, desafortunadamente, again, it's not to hate or whatever, but it's just as the plaza progressed, it would also take slow steps back,
Mm.
right? So we all know this, right? If there's one leader, you know, like if there's one leader in a pact, but there's 20 people that are part of this group, if all 20 people say, hey, listen, you know, let's do something,
Yeah.
we're going to do it, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, you can have one person in charge, but you know what I mean? And it works both ways, I guess, you know, and sometimes it takes one person to ruin everything. I'm not saying things got ruined, but
Yeah.
a lot of it has to do, I believe, where just Latinos being Latinos. You know what I mean? When we support, but then something happens and then we stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I also do believe it has a lot to do with ownership as well. Going back to the whole leadership, right? Because it begins with a leader, right?
Absolutely,
So just like I
yeah.
said with yesterday's episode with Melissa, it doesn't matter if you have all the money in the world and you have all the staff in the world. If you don't have proper leadership, it's going to make it very difficult.
Very, very,
You know,
very
so
true.
we had that stuff going on for a long time. Do I know exactly why it stopped? No, but I think it has a lot to do with just the members inside. You know what I mean? Because at one point we did have a committee there, you know, where we had a president, vice president. We have the people that were doing the accounting, all that stuff, and everybody was giving their portions, all that stuff. But exactly when it stopped, I don't know. Exactly why, I don't know. But I think, and I agree with what you're saying, that we should do it again, right? But you know, one thing is doing it, and one thing is actually having everyone saying, "Yeah, let's go for it."
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so it's
And having that strong leadership that
Of
you're
course, I
talking
feel like
about.
social media has a lot to do with that, you know, with the lack of community and the sense of community. But yeah, I just wanted to know about that because, you know, I didn't know any of that existed.
yeah, man.
And our community needs that,
Of course.
you know. One thing that I had actually been thinking about a lot when Jonah mentioned that you were going to be here
Yeah.
is when it comes to female artists, right? I grew up listening to hip hop,
Okay.
right? So we had our Foxy Browns, we had our Queen Pen, we had our The Brats, we had Lady of Rage, you know, from the West Coast. But you can name and, you know, count with one hand almost how many female rappers we've had, how many, and especially in hip hop where it's a male dominated scene, right? One of the main things that I've heard a lot over the years why it's hard to develop a female artist is because it's very expensive to develop a female artist versus throwing a male rapper on stage with a hoodie and some jeans and
Yeah.
give him a mic.
Can I ask you a question, a follow? Before you ask
Yeah.
your question, do you feel like now that can we spill the beans that
Let's do it.
you're getting married? Okay.
Oh.
Too late.
Too late, sorry. No, but just like when you have like a female just in your life in general, the maintenance that is required for a female, we're not even talking about music.
100%.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
My husband literally called me an expense yesterday. And I didn't
Lot
even
of
take
mercy.
it I didn't even take it offensively. So when you have just a female in your life, everything around creating a safe space for her is expensive. Whether it's through time, money, resources, all of that requires a lot. So I'm going to agree with what you're talking about, that it is very, 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 very capital intensive when you want to try to launch it, you know.
Yeah, and
Spanish artists
do you
or
think that
female artists.
do you think that that's limited a lot of female acts from emerging? The glam that is required, and is it really required all the time?
That's a really good question. I do feel like yes. In my opinion, to your first question, I do feel like it is very limiting. And had there been, a million, resources for women, there would probably be more. And I'm actually seeing a lot more now, because since the music industry just in general has shifted so much on, online, and like you can create like your own little buzz like by yourself on social media, that there are more female artists like kind of coming out. I'm really happy about that. What was your other question? Sorry. I hope
No, it's just like the fact that do you think it's a fact that one of the reasons why you don't see a lot of female artists like that are at the top of the game, do you think it has one thing that I've heard a lot, like Nicki Minaj and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Is that it's very expensive, right? The behind the scenes.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Outfit
I know
changes,
exactly what you're
stuff like
asking
that.
now, and now it's coming to mind because the industry has shifted so much. I do feel like before it was more of that like capital intensive. It still is now to this day, but it's not as much, because I feel like just in general, like society is craving authenticity, and
Right.
the problem with what we're necessarily talking about is like the glam and the glitz and the untouchableness, the sexual appeal, all of this stuff to create like a female artist. It's starting to go away. And I feel like I want to be part of that change, that I don't necessarily have to do all of this. I just have to like be myself, and I'll reach the people that I need to reach. So I'm excited to where it's like shifting to. But I do believe that it's not necessarily such a requirement anymore. It's still shifting in a more slow, progressive way, but I think we'll get to a point where it's not necessarily like needed so much. I still invest a lot of money into my own career, and it's it is a lot part of image, a lot of not necessarily it doesn't always have to be financial, but sometimes it is a lot more work, because I have to like build a lot more genuine like relationships before I can be like, hey, can you play my music? Or, hey, can we do this? Can we collaborate on this? Versus before, I feel like, yeah, you could have just, hey, here's X amount of dollars for this, push my artist. And it's also like, it's a different question, because like, I feel like that's like more of like a label approach. All my approach to music has always been independent. So it's even more, difficult.
Okay.
Awesome. Another question here that's not on the list just popped up in my head.
Yeah.
Do you have a night routine? And if you do, what's your night routine?
Yes. It's a lot. It's a lot of steps, because it actually takes a lot of time for me to like relax and wind down to have like good sleep. One of the main things that I have to do sometime in the day is like movement. So like I have to work out, I have to dance, sing, just do something that like will like release like energy. Then after that, after like my bath and stuff like that, I have to do like breathing exercises to calm my nervous system. I do my skincare routine. It's not very extensive, because a lot of my skincare success has come from changing my diet. So I really don't have a lot. I just used to have to moisturize and cleanse and all that, and then like my eye patches and stuff. And then before bed, I'll scroll. It's not intentional, but I'll scroll.
It happens.
It happens, and I'm trying to get better, but I've been trying to get more into reading before bed, so I can not be with the blue light. And then that's it.
Not bad, not bad. I definitely want to add, and I've been talking to my friend. I'm not sure if she's still watching, because she commented in the beginning, but I wanted to add a skincare routine at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Just to hopefully find my wife.
I'm gonna put some cucumbers on her eyes, and that's all I know.
As long as there's Nutella on it, then I'm down. Else I won't do it.
That's so funny.
There has to be like some benefit besides health. I need to enjoy it.
You can eat it after.
No, but that's what I mean. There has to be Nutella. There needs to be a reason for me to
there
put
needs
it
to
on.
be some type of dopamine hit right after the thing. Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
my body benefits, but also my soul.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. What's What's a book, movie, or piece of art that has had a profound impact on you?
Book, movie, or piece of art. Book, I would say, in life and in my spiritual life, the best book I have ever read was He Came to Set the Captives Free. It's the first book that opened my eyes to like the spiritual realm that we live in. And it was the hardest read too, because it wasn't like a sit down and like, a page turner where I'm like, I'm just going to sit here and just read the whole thing. It was a slow burn. Like
Who wrote that?
Huh?
Who wrote that? That sounds familiar.
Rebecca Brown, Dr. Rebecca Brown.
Rebecca Brown.
Yeah, if I would suggest any book for a person in their walk with the Lord, I would recommend reading that. That was the book that literally just shook me to my core, and still to this day, I recommend it to anyone that wants to know more about it. It's a heavy read. It's not easy. It shifted my perspective. It helped me, just change the way that I approach life. So yeah, that one has had such a huge impact on my life. Movie, I watch so many movies that I don't have one that really like stands out. Beside my favorite is like The Notebook, just because I'm just like a romance girly. So I do love that movie so much, and and Titanic, and all the things. But I'm just very much a rom-com girl, so it's like anything in that like genre I love.
Awesome. Okay. Think about a question for me later on.
Okay.
But I don't know if you know. I'm gonna play this song again. I don't know if you know, but I was called to record on one of your songs.
What?
Yes, a couple of years ago, many years ago. I'm gonna play it again. So Medi had called me again a couple of years ago to record Timbal. He just asked me if I was available, and I said I was available.
Shout out, Medi.
Shout out to Medilandia.
Yes.
I can't wait to have him on here. Someone else that also, again, we all know, super talented, super gifted.
Oh my goodness.
A jokester
so
and a
gifted.
half. Always a good time, always a good laugh with that gentleman.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so he called me. He's like, "Hey, Jonah, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm good or whatever." He's like, "Hey, I would like for you to come and record timbales for this song." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And I showed up, I set up my stuff, and then he gave me the song.
Yeah.
Pretty much con la guía and everything. And I'm like, "Oh, shoot, okay." So I don't know if you know, but I played los timbales on.
I was
this
about to
specific
ask.
song.
I'm like, bro, are you trying
What?
to allude to that you play the timbales?
Yeah.
Tito Puente?
Not like
Right?
him, but I me defiendo. I
Yeah.
as a musician, I am a percussionist, but I just again
Yeah.
once I got into the whole doing sound and stuff, I'm like, let me just focus on that.
I've literally only known you for some
Ladies and gentlemen, Jonah Quintero.
hidden
plays the
talent right
timbales.
here.
Yeah, actually, yeah, one of my hidden talents
Yes.
that I don't practice anymore, but
Okay.
this is the song. Hold on. Of course, my Spotify is acting Spotify.
Lights Camera Accion exclusive. Please, if you have not already, please subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
Please drop a like. If you have not commented in the chat, please say something in the chat. If you have a question for Tatyana D'voce, please drop it in
Yes,
the comments.
please. We're
right
answering
now
everything.
in the
Hold
chat.
on. It's not playing right now. Hold on one second.
Or start screen recording, because my reaction to this is going to be very genuine.
Hold on. I have to restart the Spotify because sometimes it acts bipolar.
Oh my goodness. I feel like you're probably about to open up and unlock. There is no way.
Yeah, so that's me on timbal. So right now the symbol is hold on. Right.
This is my first song ever with Medi.
Wow.
Yeah, so I did the timbales on that. Cool experience.
That
Medi-
is so crazy.
Yeah. The song is wicked.
This song is amazing.
So right now.
I cannot believe that's you.
Yes, ma'am.
I feel like now I'm going to have to go the next time to the studio and just ask, okay, Medi, I need you to give me a list of everybody that's played on my record so I can thank them, because I didn't know this.
Yeah. So actually, right now,
You killed it, though.
Oh, thank you. When
You
we were
killed it.
when we were talking in the beginning of the show, and I had
Yeah.
the songs playing,
Yeah.
I heard it, and I'm like, oh, I gotta tell Tati.
Yes.
That's awesome, man.
That is so cool. Oh my goodness. So like again, like our paths are like just like crossed all the time,
multiple
and
times without even knowing.
multiple times without even knowing. Yeah, it's just funny because like sometimes I'll be at like a show and then I'll see him because he's like doing sound, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, hello.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy. This is brand new information, and
Now
I
you
feel
know.
like it's unlocking so many like cool memories from that time though too, because it was a while ago. Like
Yeah.
it was probably it was the first time I worked with Mehdi, and I remember being just so nervous because like he's just like a force, right?
Yeah.
And little 15-year-old me, I'm just like I have this big voice, but I'm very timid.
How old were you when you recorded this one?
15.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
15 years.
Holy. Damn.
Yeah. And it's-
Timeless.
Yeah, and it's just crazy because like I still perform this song to this day. Not every single show because my 15-year-old voice is very different than my 30-year-old voice. But yeah, I just sometimes I'll go back and listen to this and be like, dang, like we were doing it,
Yeah,
like
100%.
this was really good. And yeah, I think it's so funny.
It's awesome. And for those that watched the episode with with Alex Velis a couple of last week,
Yes.
when we were talking about when Alex was talking about Mehdi having the studio when Alex was requesting to work with Mehdi and how Toma and Nico had to get the studio. This is the same studio that Alex Velis was working in, which is the same studio that Tati also recorded the music and where I was at. It was again full circle moment.
Full circle moment.
And it was
It's because
definitely
Mehdi's like a beast, and he's also like now become a staple in Toronto. Like I know
course.
he's from originally like from Montreal, but he's just become such a staple in so much
the
music.
Canadian Latin music scene, period.
Yeah, literally. I'm so proud of him. So proud of him.
Absolutely. What is a non-passion that helps you recharge? What is a non-music passion that helps you recharge?
There's a couple of different ones. Like working out, movement is just something that I have to do. I love gardening. It's the most random thing, but I've actually had a lot of conversations with artists and musicians, and a lot of us love to just like garden. Like there's just something about working like with dirt and the earth and making things grow that is just like so rewarding. So I love gardening. I used to have like a vegetable garden in North Carolina, and it's gonna be gardening season again soon, so I'm excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you have a green thumb, just like you said.
I do, yeah. Since I was little, like my mom kills every plant, but like not me. I revive it.
Oh, mommy.
I'm sorry, mommy.
We love you though.
We do.
So, why Tatyana D'voce? What's the story behind
The
D'voce?
name?
Yes.
The name. The name has like I'm very proud of it, but I'm also like my name has always had a little bit of an identity crisis because my name is born Tatyana Gonzalez, and my married name now is Tatyana Caseta, and then my artist name is Tatyana D'voce. So it's just a little bit everywhere. But the D'voce part actually came because there was a conflict with me trying to brand my name as just Tatyana. I promise you, I wanted to be like Selena, like just the one name thing.
Yep.
Or Beyonce, like I wanted to be just Tatyana. But during that time, there's another Tatyana, like a Mexican, like children's singer. I don't know if you guys know anything about her.
I think so.
Yeah, she was very famous, like when I was younger, and so we were trying to brand that name, but there was just no way to differentiate it from hers. And so we're like, okay, let's add something to it. What can we add? And for the longest time, everybody was always calling me, especially here, like Tatyana La Voz, like, because my voice has always been just like very unique sounding. And so I'm like, okay, but I don't like La Voz. It sounds like, it doesn't sound like a name. It just sounds like a title, right? So I was like, okay, what can we do with this? And we were at that moment, I think I was like, 15. We were trying to reach a new market, like the European market. We were trying to reach the Italians. So we just translated La Voz to Italian, and it came out D'voce.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's very, very cool. But a lot of people are very confused because they don't know how to pronounce it. They don't know whether to say D'voce or D'voce or D'voce. So it creates a lot of confusion and like questions. But yeah, my voice has just always been like very unique to me, but it also has a deeper meaning. Like I always felt like God gave me like this voice to be a voice for people. It wasn't like for me, it wasn't for me to only just to express my art, but it was also to be able to tell other people's stories, to reach people that, may not necessarily be reached by other artists, right?
Of course.
So, yeah.
Mario, go
Considering the fact that, you know, you have your walk with your faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you ever conflicted? Obviously, I listen to your music. You don't have music that's like questionable lyrics or like Tokisha level lyrics,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like your stuff
vulgar.
is very uplifting. It's
Yeah.
very family friendly.
Yeah.
But even then, there's a lot of people in the church world that'll be like, "Oh, you're making music where that makes people want to dance,"
Yeah.
or your lyrics aren't necessarily just to glorify God.
Yeah.
Obviously, people will always have those comments, but are you ever internally conflicted with your content? Not saying that it's bad, like I said, but are you ever conflicted that it's not considered worship music? But we had this conversation with Alex Velis, right? Secular music and then Christian music. Like, I don't think anybody wants to be labeled as anything, especially as somebody that's faith. But you make music that's positive. That's would you say it's to glorify God? Like, where do you are you ever conflicted with that internally?
This is such a fabulous question, and I'm so glad that you asked this, because this is something that I'm focusing very much on right now to clarify, because some people are confused, you know, especially like there was so much taboo-ness about my music when I was younger. Like, I was in the church and I was singing, and they were like, "You're doing worldly music, like you're not allowed to like sing here no more." I do have a lot of church hurt, and that doesn't necessarily like translate to like my life now or like my walk with the Lord, but there was a lot of that. I've received a lot of criticism from when I was younger, not so much now, but there was a time where I was conflicted about it. But not anymore. There's been a lot of clarity in some of my private time with the Lord on like the music and why I do it. We'll go back in time here in a second, but where I'm at right now, it's the music that I'm making it's positive, it's uplifting, but it's actually like very healing. It's a therapy for me right now. Some of the songs that we've written in the past 2 years, like they're not even out yet, so you don't necessarily hear what I'm talking about right now, but you will, because it's a lot of my story, and my job right now is to just continue to tell my story. Why? Because when I was younger, I promised myself, I did like this weird vow to myself that I'm like, I will never tell my story. I will never let anybody know what I've been through, why I've been through it, and the pain and like the burdens and stuff that I carry, the mental health issues that I have. I was deep in shame and guilt and like all of these things, and now the Lord's like working on my heart through my music to heal that part of me. So I'm not conflicted about it now, because we are going through a journaling process. So for example, some of the music that has been out, like Amame Déjame, is like, it's a love story, you know. I was like 16, 17 years old in love for the first time, and I thought that that's what it was, and you know, just some of my experiences. But I like to focus on music that people can see themselves in, you know.
Do you ever think you would find yourself creating a gospel song, like a worship song? That
I'm still working on, because I'm like, I feel like before I get there, the Lord still has to do a lot of work in me, in my heart. There was a time where I would have abandoned music completely, just to focus on like my walk with the Lord. And I feel like at that time, I was very like heavily into my church, and I was a worship leader at one point, and I felt very, very connected to the Lord. And I'm so grateful for that time, because that time also uncovered some of like past trauma that I hadn't dealt with. So God's like, before we can move forward in this path, you need to deal with this. Does that make sense?
Yeah. One last question before we proceed. Did anyone in church ever tell you, hey, you got to stop with this journey if you want to serve the Lord?
No. The church that I came from in Fayetteville, Manna Church, like that was such a special time in my life, because of the way that they equipped me in my walk with the Lord. I remember having this conversation with one of my pastors, and he was the one that was training me to be like a head worship leader. I told him, I'm like, hey, I'm thinking of going back to music, which obviously just means like doing secular music. And he's like, I have known you, I've seen you, we've trained together, and we've done Bible studies and stuff together. He's like, I know that whatever you end up doing, like, God knows your heart, And so I've never had that. I mean, even till this day, like, one of my best friends is from the church, and she comes from like a secular lifestyle, and then when she was like born again, she only does like gospel and Christian music, which I'm so proud of. And even like we have conversations, and there is certain content that like she wouldn't necessarily endorse, and like I respect that 100%, and I'm like, absolutely, I understand, but I haven't necessarily been conflicted about it. Like, now I'm still going through a process and a journey, and that's something that I feel like not a lot of people talk about, that my job is to point people to the Lord. Like, don't, like, if you are a fan of my music, that's wonderful, but I'm not necessarily like, I'm still human, I'm not like the perfect example of who to follow, you know what I mean? Like, we still make our mistakes, I'm a sinner, but I love the Lord, and I'm very grateful for my relationship with him.
All right, thank you for sharing that, because you don't hear that realness from people that are believers.
Yeah.
Navigating in the music world,
Yeah.
secular music world. I know it's annoying giving it titles, secular music, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
But
mainstream.
Yeah, but it is true. Like, I was listening to a pod one day that gave me a lot of clarity on this like topic. I think it was Lecrae speaking with, it was either with Tim Ross or just another artist he was talking about, and he was like, the best example I can give you is, not all gospel songs are anointed, and not all secular songs are like ungodly. Does that make sense?
Yep.
You know?
100%.
So that gave me a lot of perspective, and I was just like, you know what, like, you're right. Like, there's a way to move in this space, in the mainstream like world, that as long as like you're right with the Lord, like, we can continue. But it is a difficult world and a difficult path.
Yeah, especially if you're, navigating and having to hear that criticism. But yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Of course. No, thank you for asking that.
Awesome. Tati, do you have a question for me? Whatever you want.
I do.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's not crazy. It's just like I'm a very curious person, and I love to learn. But my main thing is like, have you ever experienced burnout? And if you have, how did you like work through that?
Oh, good question, because there's different levels to that question.
Yeah, there is, and just take it from any perspective that you want. I'm just like, I've experienced burnout in so many different ways, and different like life, like, life kind of just comes at you. I've experienced burnout in music, in business, in so many things, and I'm experiencing it now. So I'm just like, maybe somebody else has a different like advice or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So let's go back to before my journey, to doing better and being better.
Yeah.
Did I experience burnout? Yes. Did I understand what experiencing burnout was? No.
Okay.
I just felt, I guess, tired or whatever, but I would just distract myself.
Ooh.
Right? So distraction, again, like I've said in the other episodes.
Yeah.
And obviously in the first season, my form of distraction back then was going to go have a drink with the guys.
Gotcha.
Going to mess around, or doing things like that.
Yeah.
So that was again, now that I can look back and see that, like, I definitely was going through burnout phases. Did I stop? No, because I didn't understand what I was doing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly, right? But now, let's just say, perfect example, the podcast, right? Like, I did it over a year and a half ago, and then I stopped, right? Because I was feeling that burning out sensation, because once the weather gets better, we start getting booked way more.
For sure.
And it's a lot, because again, I have the DJing stuff, I have the production stuff,
Yeah.
I have Oye Latinos, and then I have the detailing stuff, and then I had other things that I had to do, and like this time around, and again, just like the beginning of the before the beginning of the podcast, when we were talking about how I would I just lost my train of thought. This is what happens when, I guess, burning out a little bit.
Honestly,
nonstop.
this happens to me as well. Like, I can relate to what you're going through, because sometimes I'll just be talking, and then I'm like, what was even my point?
Yeah.
What was the question?
Exactly.
Just to like, since you lost your train of thought, my bro.
Yeah.
I was looking at one of the questions, right, and I'm just thinking, like, I imagine the life of an artist, It says go, go, go. Every morning it's like, what's the next move?
Yeah.
Right? So when you're not doing that, what do you use to ground yourself? Like for you, like what do you do by yourself when it's just a moment for yourself?
It really depends on how I'm feeling. Recently through therapy and stuff, I've been trying to be very in tune with like my emotions, because that's something that I was never like taught how to do. And depending on the emotion, that's where I kind of like find what grounding tools I have. If I'm experiencing a lot of anxiety, because this world and this career is very anxiety ridden for me, just because there's so much to do all the time. I'm doing it myself, so if it's anxiety ridden, I know I have to like do some breath work. I have to go to take a Pilates class or something. If it's a spiritual, battle that I'm like going through, that just means that I need to get back in my word. I need to audit. This is something that I talked about a while ago. I need to audit and take inventory of what I'm feeding myself, what I'm listening to, what I'm watching, what I'm eating. All of that affects like your spiritual life. And so if I notice that I feel far away from like the Lord for whatever reason, I take inventory. I'm like, oh, I've been listening to this music, or oh, I've been hanging out with these people, and so taking inventory and that really like helps ground me. And then I'm like, okay, in my word, Lord, like what is it that you want me to know about myself? Like what do you want to say? If it's, let's say, work related, if it's like music, like I'm feeling very insecure about something, I go away from it. Like I spend time with people that are not in music. So like my cousin is like my best friend. We go out and we just like have a good time. We like dance and
Is that your cousin that came with you to the radio station that time?
I have two. So she's one of them, but yes, she came. She's been a lot of like my anchor lately, and I also have another one. She just recently got married, so we don't get to spend a lot of time together. But we'll go out for girly, brunches, and that helps ground me, because I'm like, even though music is wonderful, and even though like it's like such a fascinating like life, I also like sometimes have treated it as an escape. So to ground myself, I have to literally like just go back and be like a real person, go out for lunch, go to work,
May I ask some follow-up question?
Absolutely.
Do you ever feel alone on your journey, and how often do you feel alone?
This is good. Often. I feel very alone in a lot of different ways. In my spiritual journey, I felt alone for a long time, because not everybody was on that spiritual journey with me, like my family members. There's maybe only 2 or 3 of us that are saved in my whole family. My friends as well, I was isolated from a lot of them. In music itself, I do feel very alone, because I am doing a lot of it alone. I'm my manager, I'm my PR, I'm the singer, I'm the songwriter, I'm the face, I'm the accountant, I'm everything, for myself, and it is very lonely. There's a lot of hours, and I'm sure you can relate to this as well, because you're just like, I do a lot of this, by myself, and even sometimes too, and just like in my marriage, because not because I am alone, but because I have a lot of like trauma that I'm still dealing with, and that just by itself can be isolating.
Yeah, I understand that. Thank you for sharing that. I don't know, Jonah, did you have anything? Because I have so many questions that I can go from here.
I want to finish answering what the question was. Well, before I answer,
did you remember?
No, so I'm going to ask you to ask the question again.
Okay.
So I can try to remember.
Yeah, my question was like, have you experienced burnout? And if you have, how did you like work to either get out of it, or are you still in it,
Yeah, okay. So going back to what I was trying to say before. So again, I had to stop, doing the podcast, just because, again, I was feeling that burnout coming again.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because there was just a lot of moving pieces, a lot of
Yeah.
things happening.
So now you can kind of feel like when you're about to get there, like you can
Exactly.
see the trigger. Yeah.
Exactly. And like now it's different, because again, like I've said it before in the other episodes, now I'm dealing with it differently.
Okay.
Before, when I was feeling those little burnouts or those little sensations, I would distract myself with things. But now it's different, which again, like I was trying to say to you before I forgot my train of thought, what we were saying in the beginning, that now it's much more difficult now, doing it this way because, hold on, there's no more music. Where's the music? There you go. Sorry. Now it's a bit more difficult because now I don't have those. Not that you need to have those distractions, but my way of distraction, I don't want to call it distraction, but now it's like when I feel it happening or whatever, I go to the gym, right? Or like, for example, one of the main reasons why I just came out of nowhere to do the second season is because I was feeling it again, where I'm like, I gotta let it out.
Ooh.
I gotta let it out. So this literally happened. Season 2 came out of nowhere.
Love that.
You know what I mean? Because
do you feel like it's starting to be like, in a way, like a form of therapy for you?
100%.
I love that. Good.
Like the amount of times that I broke down in the first season with the guests that were here, the amount of times like the guests that were here were opening up about things that no one's ever known, or like times when they've broken down and stuff.
Yeah, I love that.
It's what do you want? Like, how do I word it? Number one, it allows you to express yourself, right?
Yes.
And then number two, just like the other person, but then it also shows you that you're not alone.
I was just about to connect the dots between what you were talking about, the loneliness, and what you're talking about right now, because I just feel like, even though, yes, a lot of us experience so much loneliness, but when you do something like this and you're in community and you're able to talk and just talk things out, like, you realize, hey, maybe my experience isn't actually so unique to me. Maybe we're all actually going through this. And I just joke about it sometimes, but it's so real that, like, we're living the same lives. Like, we're going through like the same, processes and some of the same experiences. And so I think that I'm just like so grateful to be a part of like this time in life where everybody's being actually vulnerable and vocal. And I'm so appreciative of like your vulnerability and like yours as well, because, when we were younger, we didn't have that type of space. You know what I mean?
No.
But now we get to have it, and I'm just like, oh, I have so much bottled up inside, and the more that I talk about it, the more that I release. And now it's connecting the dot in my head that I'm like, this is why the Lord's like, you have to share your story. I know you don't want to, but because you don't know who else is going through the same thing,
Of course.
That's wonderful.
And just to add to that, like you see that everyone's going through, again, similar things, right? Because it is. We're all going through the exact same thing, but it's just different situations.
100%.
You know what I mean? We still go home and cry, or we still question ourselves, or we still dud ourselves, or we still, you know what I mean? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Again, we know this example where they say, like, there's a lot of people that cry in a Ferrari and people that cry in the bus. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's literally the same thing. So, like, with me now, and again, I don't want to call it a distraction, but like I was also saying to you before we started the show, Mario is in the short period of time that I've gotten to know him and everything, we've gotten really close. You know what I mean? He's a man of faith, and it just so happened that I was slowly going in that direction, and that's another reason why I said, you know what, I want you on the show, because and I've said it multiple times on the show, you need to surround yourself with like-minded people.
You do.
And it's so important who you hang around with, you know, because it just makes life a little bit more easier, knowing that if something were to happen, I'm going to call Mario.
100%, yeah.
Or vice versa, you know what I mean? So it's that's how I deal with it. Well, this is a form of me, talking and everything, obviously going to church.
Yeah.
The gym, to add to what you were saying about what we eat.
Mm-hmm.
What we consume is so important.
So much.
You know what I mean? Like, guys, processed food, it tastes good, but it's not good for you, because it would not only make your body do weird things, you know what I mean, but it also,
it's tied to depression too.
Exactly. Like it's all spiritual at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It makes you feel like crap. Like, the double cheeseburger tastes amazing, but then how do you feel?
For like a second.
But then what do you feel after like 30 minutes? You feel, number one, hungry again, and number two, you don't feel good. So it's
oh my goodness, like I could literally sit here and talk about food and health and wellness for the whole pod, but then we'll be here until 3:00 in the morning, and we're not going to do that. But
I mean, I'm done.
I have a follow-up question, because it came to me as like you were talking. And it might lead into food, it might lead into different, and we're going to shift in a certain direction, because like I'm curious to know, as a Latino living in Canada, have you ever experienced like an identity crisis in your duality? Like, for me, I like I said earlier, I'm Canadian Ecuadorian, but I've always like had that issue where it's like, sometimes I feel more Ecuadorian than Canadian. Sometimes I feel more Canadian, you know, and like people have labeled me as whitewash because hablo español, lo hablo bien, blah, blah, blah. Pero sometimes se me olvidan las cosas, you know what I mean? Like I forget, and like I'm more comfortable in English, and I'm so grateful that we can do this in English, because I'll do an interview in Spanish and I'll be like, if I could just speak in my normal like language, like I'm so smart, I promise you, like I have so many things to say, but I'm limited. So I'm just wondering if like you've ever felt like a little bit of an identity crisis, like I'm not enough of both, or
that's a good question.
like do you feel rooted? Like I don't know, like I feel like our generation can talk a little bit more openly about this, because we kind of live a little bit of like that. And some of my target audience, like I just defined it with my brand manager as like, I want to target the 200 percenters, which are the people that, you know, they weren't born in their like motherland, you know, they were born either in the States or they were born here, and so they have a different experience. So, yeah,
so,
I'm curious.
I think I'm right in the middle. And again, for many reasons, because it's layered. Again, we could talk about that specific question in many different ways.
Right.
I'm gonna say I'm in the middle because obviously, yes, I'm born here, but because of my situation with my parents, right? Like musically, Ecuadorian music was always there. The food was always there.
The food was always there.
You know what I mean? And not even just the food at home, but the food at the plaza. Because I grew up at the plaza, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, for example...
You were surrounded just, like, by culture so
much.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? So I felt like back home. And, like, for example, you know how the plaza was back in the day?
Yeah.
It looked like you lived back home.
Yeah.
Right? It looked like you lived back home. And, like, even other business owners that are also... that we consider family and stuff. Yeah. Same thing. Restaurants like El Típico Ecuatoriano on Kill and Lawrence. They're my brother's godparents. So again, hopefully I'm answering the question, because there's just so much that I can say to it.
Yeah, you are.
I'm like right in the middle.
Yeah.
I learned Spanish because of the store, because my parents told me, hey, if for the customers, you have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the music as well. I feel like I'm not answering the question.
No, I feel like you are, because it's like you are right in the middle. Like you do get to like fully be both, you know, and I don't think you feel one more than the other. And so, and that's why I'm saying, like, I think you are answering it, because I feel the same, but I've had just a little bit of a different experience with my family. We didn't actually grow up in Toronto. Like we were born here. And then at 5 years old, like I left. And as soon as we left, culture went away from me. So Spanish went away, the music went away. The only culture I really experienced was when I would talk to my grandma, which was maybe like once every 6 months, and my tia from Ecuador. You know, that's the only like practice I had for Spanish. And obviously anytime we took trips over there. But you got to like experience, you know, the richness of our culture and have like a little piece of home here, right? And I think that that's beautiful. And also I also attribute it to the fact that like I'm also like second gen born here. So like my parents, I don't speak to them in Spanish. I speak to them in English. All of my schools that I always went to, they were all predominantly, you know, white people. There was maybe a handful of Latinos in my high school, and they didn't necessarily relate to me because I was too, you know, Canadian for them, and they didn't feel like they related to me. So yeah, so sometimes I do struggle with that, because I'm just like, maybe I'm not enough Ecuadorian as I should be, and definitely not enough Canadian. So it's like I've always kind of like battled through that. So it was interesting to hear your perspective.
Where do you think you could improve to get closer to your roots?
I just think being in community. I think that's going to be like more important, like for me. And I think that's why too, like I travel so much here. And I know you asked me like if I like to drive. I do like to drive.
You're crazy.
But I know, but people say that all the time. And I'm just like, you don't understand how much I feel like starved from culture.
Okay, gotcha.
You know what I mean? So I'm just like, maybe it's not that I like driving. Maybe it's just because I like to be here. You know, maybe it's because like I like to be around like, you know, not only just my family, but like, you know, my people. There are a lot of Latinos in Detroit, like don't get me wrong. But there's not one single Ecuadorian restaurant out there. Not one single one.
Business idea.
I thought about it, but I don't know how to cook Ecuadorian food like that.
Okay,
you know, like there's certain ones that I know how to make, but not
Mhm.
enough, you know. So I'm like, maybe I'll bring my tia and she'll do it. But
Yeah, just call it Taty's. I don't know, Taty's plate, something.
yeah, I like that.
know,
Taty's plate. I like that.
hearing you both talk about this,
Royalties.
hearing you both talk about this, I didn't have that experience whatsoever. For me,
Ooh.
I just had
tell me
a
more.
Christian upbringing,
Mm.
right? So for me, it was always church. There was no culture. There was no Salvadorian culture. There was no Mexican culture for me.
Yeah.
It was just church or not.
Oh.
You know, before I had the freedom of choice,
Yeah.
my entire life was just I was at church events, church everything. My
Yeah.
identity was church. All these different nations, people from different parts of the world
Mm.
at church, right? So I never had the opportunity to feel what you guys felt,
Mhm.
but what I felt was a little bit of isolation or alienation, I guess, from what was really going on around us.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because of the fact that I was so sheltered in that sense, right? So
Interesting.
that identity crisis for me wasn't a Latin thing or a culture thing.
Yeah,
it was
yeah, yeah.
more of a religious aspect, right?
Yeah.
It's like the music that you guys grew up listening to.
Yeah.
I had to discover that on my own, you know, in
Yeah.
my upbringing, in my teenage years, on my own,
Mhm.
right? Being around friends and stuff. So I didn't have that musical upbringing. I wish I did.
Mm.
You know
I
what
was
I mean?
about to ask him, like, do you feel like you wish you did and would have that changed a little bit of your personality? If had
100%. I think I would be. I think my music library would be a lot more vast. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If I had at least those extra 10, 15 years
Yeah.
of head start,
Got you.
right? But literally all music that I know
Mm-hmm.
was discovered on my own.
Wow.
You know, because at home we were listening to Rabito, we were listening
Yeah.
to Marcos Witt,
Was it
Danilo
prohibido
Montero.
at all to listen to secular music?
Oh
in your house?
yeah! Oh my God!
Can
I
we talk
remember-
about that for a second? Because I can relate to both of y'all's stories, because I'm like, I grew up as a Seventh-day Adventist, so that's very like orthodox. Like, it's not just you just go to church. It's very much you're not allowed to go to the movies. You're not allowed to listen to secular music. Like, modest wear the whole time. My mom was probably shunned so many times from every church because she had highlights in her hair. You know, no nails were allowed. You know, so it was very, very strict, and that's why I was talking a little bit about the whole TV thing, because like we weren't allowed to watch TV like that. So I can relate to what you're talking about. I didn't discover like the world until 13, 14.
Just imagine this, right? Some very, very memorable lyrics from my upbringing. When my mom and my sister weren't home, I
Yeah.
used to just go ham listening to my music, whatever I wanted to listen to. I would use my allowance music. Once a week, I would walk over to Music World and buy a CD, you know, like I would listen to everything they had. I'm like,
I love
okay, this is
that.
the one that I wanted. So imagine, I'm reading these lyrics from Baby Rasta Gringo.
Oh no.
So I'm
Wishing Yandel was my like.
yo tenía controlado what time my mom would get home, right?
How old are you? You remember? How old
14, 15, 16.
are you? Were you in the washroom or in your room?
No, I was in the living room jamming, you know, I would
Okay.
use the outside speakers. And I miscalculated. My mom came home a little earlier.
Un perreo in secret.
And she walks in. Literally when Baby Rasta is saying, Dale mami, ya llego tu nene travieso. Si juegas conmigo, juegas con fuego. Quiero perrearte, guay jalarte el cabello, guay ponerte en tu boca mi maldito nervio. She walked in right when he
Right,
saying
said
that. I felt like I was naked in front of my mom. She's like, eso es lo que te gusta escuchar.
Yeah.
Eso es lo que te gusta escuchar.
I'll be right back. Ya vengo.
Ya vengo.
Ya vengo con la correa.
I was about to say,
Man.
con el cinturón en la
Oh,
mano.
it wasn't even, she didn't need to hit me. This was
Just
probably
pure
worse.
shame. Was
I
it
felt
just pure
ashamed.
shame? Oh my god.
You know, the fact that she walked in when this guy was saying that, I'm like,
Oh, that is so funny. I have to say that like early 2000 reggaeton was like my guilty pleasure. But you know what's crazy is I only listened to it on my cousin's iPod because I wasn't allowed to have it. So she had, you know, a little bit more free reign, and her family was, you know, same, but her brothers always like, you know, had like the newest music. And like I remember listening to Besos Mojados on her iPod, like the one like this on the school bus, and I just thought it was so funny because I'm like, I'm gonna get in so much trouble just for listening to this. But yeah.
the stuff before that, like the early 2000s, the DJ Blast Reggaeton Sex series.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No,
Like,
for me, it was,
I understood why parents did not like that.
Oh yeah, I definitely understand it now because I'm just like, oh my goodness, I was over here like, you know, young me just vibing, and then you listen like to actual lyrics, and I'm just like, oh, it's not good.
Yeah,
I gotta protect my ears.
100%. Like one thing that I've been using as an example, and I even literally said it to my dad because a couple months ago when I had to sit down and have
Yeah.
a talk with him, I told him, I'm like, Pa, I'm like, think about it. Like, you know how weird it feels, at least now for me, that, again, I'm on a different route. Yes, I'm still DJing for weddings and quinceañeras, and I'm doing all that stuff
Yeah.
because it is my career and stuff. You know, I don't drink at these gigs anymore.
Right.
But I'm like, Pa, I'm like, you know how weird it feels to be doing these parties, and then either somebody comes and asks me for the song, or when I play, for example, Gasolina, Daddy Yankee, and I see these kids repeating the lyrics or just dancing up and down,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like, I'm like, wow, that's like, do you know what the lyrics mean?
Right.
You know, so for example, a ella le gusta la gasolina, dame más gasolina. What does that mean? She likes sperm. Give me, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
it's like,
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Now that I see things differently, and again, I'm not gonna lie, that these songs are very, it makes you want to start dancing and all that stuff, and it's
Yeah.
like, it's
Well,
hard not to,
music
but-
in general is just like, it is very spiritual, you know, like
course,
music was
course.
like it comes from heaven, so it's like when you look at it from the aspect that, like, you know, Satan is literally he was like a worship leader in heaven. It just makes sense to why it's so spiritual.
makes
And
so much sense. Yeah?
it, like, again, like when your spiritual eyes are open, you can like see it now. But I remember like being just so blind because I'm just like, oh, like the beat is so cool, I'm not listening to anything, but you might not like hear it, but your subconscious is picking it up.
Of course.
You know, your whole body, your spirit is consuming it, right? And then we wonder why like certain things are happening, or like, why am I acting this way? And I remember I did a very important independent study project in one of my classes. I think it was like sociology or something in high school. And, you know, being the music person that I am, I was like, I want to study the effects of music on the human brain, you know? And I did a whole like independent study. I interviewed so many people, like did, you know, the whole process, right? And my conclusions, you know, were correct. It was like people who listened to XYZ music had lower grade averages. If you listen to, you know, a different style that's not necessarily
Like classical music.
yeah, like classical music, it equaled this, right? And it was just like, or if you listen to very heavy like metal or rock, like these people are a little bit more aggressive. And I even did the experiment on myself, got in trouble because I was listening to screamo at 16 years old.
Alexa's on fire.
No, I was listening to Pierce the Veil, Sleeping with Sirens, and even that name is just kind of like, whoa. So yeah, but again, I was just like, I did the experiment on myself, and my dad's like, what's going on with you? Like, why are you so angry all the time and snippy? And like, I really was. I'm like, this is just who I am. And then I was just being like snippy, and I'm like, and then he grabbed my iPod and, you know, took it away from me because like that's what I was listening to. So yeah, like it's so spiritual, and it has so many deep effects that like we don't necessarily like realize, you know, even like sound frequencies. Like, why is the reggaeton like 808 so heavy and so low? Like those frequencies are meant to, you know, hit the brain a certain way, right? Another topic I can talk about for hours.
No, it's crazy. If you don't mind, Mario, if you could talk about Tati, what you just said right now about Satan, and he was the
Angel of music.
Angel
yeah,
of music,
like,
yeah.
do you know more about that?
I mean, regarding that, I mean, there are. I think it's very vague, like how the Bible describes it necessarily. Like, he wasn't only dressed like an angel of music; he was also
He
in
had, like,
charge
many,
of, from like
yeah,
not
many,
mistaken, like minerals and different like earth minerals and crystals and stuff like that. That's why these things, humans find them so precious. Otherwise, why would we find certain things so precious if it
Yeah.
wasn't influence? Like, they're just rocks, but different rocks do certain things. Like
1000%.
yeah, so in regards to that, there's actually a theory out there that there's like a classical song that was actually inspired by Satan himself, right? He actually appeared to this musician. I forgot who it was. I think it was an Italian composer of classical music.
Yeah.
And Lucifer came to him in a dream, and the chord progressions in this particular song It's called like the Devil's Chord, something like that.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know exactly what song
Yeah.
it is, but I remember hearing this exact same theory and story. I feel like do you have more to say, or can I expand?
No,
on
no, no.
that?
Go ahead.
There's actually even like a story on one of like the major. I don't remember his name because I'm really bad with names, but one of the major influences in blues music,
Robert
like
Johnson.
the Crossroads.
Who?
The
Robert Johnson.
Robert Johnson, the Crossroads. Like he was literally handed a guitar from the
Yeah,
devil
he sucked.
himself.
He couldn't play.
He couldn't play.
He just disappeared one day, came back, and this guy can play like everything. Like he's the father of blues music.
Yeah.
You know?
That's interesting. I would have looked that up.
Yeah. When when you start to dive deeper and deeper, you start to see like music differently, the world differently, why certain things are like the way that they are, why I had this really interesting conversation with my brand manager. We were in New York having dinner, and she was like, what are your thoughts on the Bad Bunny Super Bowl performance? I was like, well, where do you stand on X, Y, and Z topic before I get into it? Otherwise, you're just going to be scared. But yeah, it was just like, it was interesting because like I have two opinions on that. Not that anybody cares, but it's
Well, trust me, I care.
it's okay.
Me too.
I have like a pride because of the whole Latino orgullo thing, and I can hold space for that. But also like the spiritual side of me is just like they're pushing a narrative, an agenda. They're pushing, again, very proud that it's like a Latino out there, but why did Daddy Yankee not show up? He has like his like spiritual reasons that he didn't want to show up. You know what I mean? Even some of the imagery that they performed, and the cross imagery and the symbolism and all of these major events are for a purpose, and they're pushing some type of propaganda that they want like newer generations. Everybody is celebrating it, and yes, I can celebrate it in like a Latino being able to perform at the Super Bowl, but I know in my heart and my spirit that the Super Bowl is like a type of ritual. Thank you. Yeah, a ritual that it's like a rite of passage for.
You nail on the head right there.
Yeah,
Rite of
so
passage.
it's very like not a lot of people talk about this though, because like people want to shy away from dark topics because like some people are scared about it, and I'm like, I'm not necessarily scared. I'm just very aware of it, and once you're aware of it, you can't unsee it. So yeah, that's
One of the things that people did not realize, they thought that, oh, okay, they made the American people happy by bringing out a white girl, Lady Gaga, but it had nothing to do with that. Like from my perspective, she was crowning Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
Right? She was crowning him in a ritual, right? Like she's
Yeah.
been, if you know what Lady Gaga stands for, like, esta mujer es una bruja.
Yeah, 100%. And
You
she's
know.
very open about it too.
Yeah,
Like, so
she's a
not lying.
Marina Abramovich follower.
Yeah.
And Marina Abramovich she's like very influential in hip-hop music, especially, and Michelle Lamia as well, the fashion designer.
Yeah.
But Marina Abramovich, like, she's the one that did that music video with Jay-Z where Picasso Baby, if you look it up on YouTube,
Yeah.
watch at your own discretion. Please pray if you do decide to watch this stuff.
Yeah.
But like she's just like staring into Jay-Z's eyes for 8 hours or
Yeah,
something.
and the thing is that like everything is done with intention. Like some people, I get a little bit frustrated when people are just like, oh, it's just art, it's just expression, and I'm just like, no, it's actually very much calculated, very premeditated, very like this is the end goal and this is what you have to do to get there, right? One of the saddest like moments I had, because I used to be a very, very big Karol G fan, like just die hard from, I just followed her when she started, and I loved that she started with like romantic reggaeton, and she wasn't about like the very vulgar stuff, you know what I mean? So as an early fan, it just like it was sad to see where she's at now, like happy for her success, glad that it's a woman, but there was a cost, right? Something I've always said to anybody that is willing to listen is that there's always like a spiritual side to success, regardless if you want to recognize it or not. You're either doing things like with the Lord or you're doing things not with the Lord. There is like no in between. And the people that like sometimes argue with me about, yeah, well, what if you just like don't do it with either? I'm like, well, if you're not with the Lord, then you are on this side. Like there's really no lukewarmness,
Of course. Oh, my turn? Awesome conversation. We have to change it up only because I know we can keep going on.
I know.
And
That's what I'm saying. Like, just keep firing off like random questions, because I could talk about this for hours. My dad knows. I'll talk for hours about the same thing, and we'll both be like dissecting things.
I think this is good because you know what, your audience, like the people that are listening that will eventually tune into this on the replay,
Yeah.
they're gonna know that you're not compromised and that you're not willing to be compromised. And I think that's very valuable to know about an artist, because that's one of the first things I look for with artists. I'm like, I don't want to listen to somebody that represents darkness, somebody that's embraced it.
100%.
You know,
Yeah,
I
100%.
respect that about you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, because I think that that's something that like I always wanted to openly talk about. And one of my friends actually inspired me to be like, yeah, just be very vocal, very open about like your faith. And I always wondered, like as a kid, I was just like, oh, well, what if like, again, the criticism, right? Because like I do secular music, or because I do love, you know, romance and, you know, these things. But at the end of the day, I'm just like, I know where I stand. And also I finally gotten to a place that I'm like, if the Lord asks me to step away from music, I will. You know what I mean? And that could be very controversial, because people are just gonna be like, you just don't love music enough to make it, you know? And I'm just like, I'm like, if you understood what it took to get there, like he will allow me to reach a certain amount of success, if that's what you want to call it, on his terms. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, so there's a lot of things that I won't compromise. There's a lot of things I won't do. There's a lot of events I won't go to, because, you know, the type of people that are there, right?
Of course. So just to add to what you guys were saying, right? Going back to Alex, when he said it in the show, he's like, when I showed
I loved
up,
that episode.
when I showed up to I think it was Sábado Gigante or one of those major Univision.
Yeah.
He showed up and he's like, he noticed all these girls in you know, pretty much naked.
Yeah.
And he just stayed there, and he's like, hey, he's like, I really hope those girls are not for me. You know what I mean? And then his management's like, you know, the manager knew, pero se tuvo que ser el pendejo.
Claro.
You know what I mean? And he's like, oh, no, change it. Because it's like going back to what you were saying, right?
Yeah.
Again, unfortunately, sex sells.
Yep.
Right? But it's like, it's not worth it, you know? And this also, again, ties a little bit to what I was talking to you guys about before, about the whole, like, me having trouble DJing sometimes. Right? Because when I do my job, usually people are drunk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know it's not my fault, but
right,
I
but
have
the
a little bit.
environment.
Yeah, you know, and I have a little bit of influence, you know. But Maria, you have something to say? No.
I just I had just to follow up with one of the questions around on our schedule, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we need to go back to that, because we're
Yeah. No. It's just like there's just so much that we can.
There's so much to
talk
unpack.
about.
Yeah.
But this is not cheap, right? Chasing your dreams, regardless of what it is, it's not cheap.
No.
So without divulging too much about your personal life, like we don't want to know where you work or anything, but like, how do you fund your dreams?
That's such a good question. I do work. I have like a full-time job. Lies. Part-time now. I was working full-time for a while. I studied accounting in university. And so I'm blessed that it's such a high paid like position that I hold, and I work remotely too. So I've been literally given like such a wonderful job, because not only do they know about my like music life and they understand the flexibility that I need, but I'm also very good at my job, so there's a lot of like trust that I have with them, and it is remote, so like I can do it from anywhere. Like I was working one morning 9 to 2 before I went to Fashion Week, you know, in New York. So it's blessed. Like I didn't have that opportunity my whole life, but I have been doing accounting for a long time, so a lot of that comes from a lot of that funds like my music. I'm blessed also because like my husband pays for all the bills at home, and I also work with some of like the Canadian government like grants. So it has been, you know, it's been expensive for a long time, but just recently it's starting to like, you know, fund itself.
Sick.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's one thing that a lot of people don't really take into consideration. They think that people just have money pouring in, right?
No. That I had this conversation with my husband the other day. There are some people that do have like silent investors. There's very different ways that like music gets funded. there's a lot of dirty, money in it as well. So like we don't necessarily have to go into all of the details, but like something for me, like again, one of the things I'm not willing to compromise is like how I fund, my music. Like, so if I have to do something slower because I don't have all the money for it, then I'll do it. I've had opportunities in the past where like they're like, we're just gonna pay for everything, we're gonna do this, but something just don't feel right, and I'm just like, no, it's okay, I'm okay.
Yeah, thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah, thank you, but no thank you. So yeah.
I'm gonna ask you a question here. This one we could slowly start to segue to this
For sure.
part, but what does mental health mean to you?
Mental health is so important to me. It's I've struggled for a long time. I don't know how deep we can get into this, but and also, like, I'm just going to give everybody watching a little bit of a trigger warning just in case. So mental health is super important to me because I come from a family that has been in heavy demonic bondage. My grandmother and my aunt were practicing witches. And again, why my walk with the Lord is so heavy, because I'm like, at one point, there was like a ritual done with me at like 3 years old. I was like molested and sexually abused until I was 9. So all of that on top of like trauma that happened in my, when my mom was pregnant with me, all of that has created a massive like mess and storm in my mind and my body. So mental health right now means a lot, because it's not just mental health. Like it's I don't like to just call it mental health. It's just health, I have to take care of my mind the same way that I take care of my body, and the same way I take care of my voice, and the same way I take care of people. I'm a very much like a loving person, and sometimes it's difficult because people take advantage of that, right? And that also goes into what you were talking about, like women, like just being a woman in the industry is difficult. And then you add on top of like a woman that, like me, that's been very, very broken for a long time. I've had to do a lot of therapy. I've had to do a lot of marriage counseling, EMDR like training. Still going through it. I was just talking to my mom about this because she has her own story, and like she has such a significant influence in my life, and we are like very much two peas in a pod. Won't go into too much of like her story, but I'm just like, I'm very grateful that we're finally in a place where like mental health is important, because growing up, I didn't know about mental health. I didn't know that like my first panic attack when I was like 12 years old, I didn't know that's what was happening. I just thought I was dying. And and then it was just funny because I used to work at a doctor's office, and they were doing like mental health screenings. And I remember just like for fun, I'm like, let me just take one of these. I don't think like I'm, mentally ill, but I just want to take one of these. Every single thing led to severely depressed, severely, anxious, PTSD and all the things. And I just remember looking at that, laughing, and then just, moving on with my life. But it wasn't until maybe 2022, right after my training for worship leader, that everything came out and came forward. And I felt like I was drowning. So yeah, that was like the first real encounter that I feel like I had with the Lord, and I had to work really, really hard with him to be delivered. That's like a whole nother topic we can talk about later, but yeah, it means a lot to me, and I hope that people actually take it very, very like seriously. I'm very proud of like the work that I've done, proud of the work that like my mom's done. I had such a long conversation with her today, and I'm just like, wow, like you sound like you're healing, and that is, I mean, we've had our issues, and I'm just like, I'm very, very proud of her. So she's like listening right now. So I'm very proud of you, and I'm really grateful that all you had to do hard work, and you've done it. And I really advocate for people to continue to just reach out. It's scary. Not a lot of people want to go through therapy because you have to revisit hard things, right? It's not a fun thing to do, but it's so necessary, because as a person, like, yes, a lot of bad things happen to me, but it's also my responsibility to like break the cycle. So I don't want to pass these things to like my future generations. I want it to stop here. So it's very important to me.
That's thank you for telling us that. And,
Of course. I'm shaking while I'm talking about that because
No,
it's
thank
like
you.
not.
Honestly, everybody listening, like, please share this with somebody. Okay, somebody that you know that can relate to this. It's it's really nice when people can be vulnerable.
Mhm.
You know, you're a person of faith, and you know there's other people that are listening to this that have family members from all walks of life that have been involved in brujeria to some degree.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's sad that it's like very prominent in like the Latin
Yeah.
culture. There's a lot of people that I've had conversations with that have experienced like these things, and we've been able to like talk through some things, and it's been beautiful. But I do see it like prominently. You know, there's a lot of that, and I'm just like, oh wow, I didn't realize so many people were going through this. You know.
and something that's very very important for a lot of us believers, like now we're having this is like a real talk here we're having now.
Yeah.
But one thing that I really feel like I need to share, especially for our believers out there and people that have gone through or have witchcraft going on in their life, or
Mhm.
you're aware of it in your life and your family,
Yeah.
when it comes to the Bible, it's a very heavy topic, and if you are aware that these things are in your family,
Mm-hmm.
you have to break those generational curses,
Have to.
right? So if people don't, like, it's not a matter of doing any rituals, people, like, this literally involves having fellowship, you know, in church, having fellowship with a pastor,
Yeah.
or someone like church leaders. Like, deliverance is very much needed
Mhm.
from witchcraft, like, especially you know, my partner, you know, in life, she's Nigerian, you know, and Nigerian culture,
Yeah.
especially Yoruba, like, there's a lot of witchcraft, right? A lot of
Mhm.
Orisha worship, and there's a lot of chains and
Claro.
generational curses that need to be broken. So
Claro.
just people, like, don't play with witchcraft. It's something that requires actual intentional prayer, fasting, generational curse breaking, deliverance. Look into that. Please do your research on that, because it's very important. It really does affect people's lives, and it's very
Deeply.
selfish of the people that practice it, because you're doing it for your own selfish gain,
Right, but it
but you're
affects
affecting your
generations.
generations,
Mhm.
you know, your
Mhm.
kids, like, until somebody breaks it.
Woo,
You
this
know?
this is heavy because
Yeah.
it's so true, and it's like it's sad because again, like we are like the ones that are breaking the generational curses, like we carry such a heavy burden, and it's like I just remember one day, like, and I know this obviously thought wasn't mine and it wasn't from God, it was like a demonic thought. It was like, I didn't deserve this, I don't need to do this. And that, had I like fed into that, that was going to keep me in bondage, because it was like one of those things that I was going to just play the victim and just be like, it is what it is. But the more and more that I've like walked with the Lord, and so many things that have happened too, like in my family and in my life, that I'm just like, I can't, like, I physically can't, I have to have it end here. And it's hard work. It's not easy. And I know that it's scary because, you know, you have to face like the darkest things in your life, but there's so much peace on the other side of it. And I think one thing that I really wanted to make sure that I said on the pod today was that your pain and your trauma does not define you. It's not part of your identity. It is part of your story, but it doesn't define you. There's still peace, there's still life, and there's hope on the other side of that. So reach out if you are, you know, dealing with something that's difficult. I've always said my DMs are always open. I haven't gone live in a while, but my DMs are always open if you just need to vent, and you know, we'll talk about it. But yeah, I thought that was really important to say today, and I hope that no one feels so alone that they're just like, I'm isolated. Jesus could never love me. Like, Jesus loves you just as you are. So yeah.
Amen. So these are amazing conversations, so amazing that I forgot to talk about our sponsors. So before they kick my ass,
Yes,
let
please
me do
thank them.
a quick little recap. So this sponsor's not gonna get mad because this is my business, so I'm just mad at myself. So if you guys want to get your card detailed, make sure you give me a call, 416-807-4261. I will come to you, or you come to me. Once again, if you guys want to get your card detailed, you guys just give me a call, 416-807-4261, and I'll come clean your car. But my first official sponsor is Bradley Meats. Thank you once again to Carlo and his father. This is a family-owned business over here by Jane and Seven. These guys have they offer premium cuts of meat sourced from local farms at the best prices.
Ooh.
Everything from skirt steak, T-bone steak, Colombian and Argentinian sausage, then most importantly their famous chimichurri. It's so good. My mouth is watering. But
I'm getting hungry. Like I
trust
might
me.
pass by over
Let's do it. I think they're closed, but I can get the key. Anyways, just make sure you guys give them a call at 905-669-7583. Once again, 905-669-7583. Or you could visit them at 445 Edgeley Boulevard, Unit 4. Once again, this is close to Jane and Highway 7. Or make sure you follow them at bradley.meats. So thank you again to our official paid sponsor of the podcast. And let's get back to the show and continue these amazing conversations.
Oh yeah.
How are you guys?
I'm good.
Nice, feel
I'm
good?
buzzing. Like sometimes like I'll have these like really amazing conversations and I know that like either the Holy Spirit is with us or like we're just having like a really good conversation because like my whole body actually like buzzes and it's cool. It's a cool sensation.
That's awesome. Do you have another question for me?
More questions. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you said earlier that you are actually can I direct this one to him because I haven't asked him anything. Okay, first I want to thank you for your obedience in reaching out to Jonah because he said that you are such a important part of his walk in like the faith. Can you just talk to me a little bit about like how that happened? Did you feel like the Lord spoke to you and was like, I need to reach out to this person? Or was it more of like, hey, let me just invite him to Bible study? Like what did that process look like?
It happened organically, honestly. It was more we were both in search of betterment of self, and we ended up at a men's, not even a men's, it was just a mental health
It was a
event
wellness
event
that Andres put together, Andres Ramirez,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you know, he just happened to be there. He was somebody that I'm like, yo, you're that guy that was there or that thing that, yeah, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we just hit it off from there.
Love.
We started flirting, imagine.
Oh my God, man. Dude, no one's supposed to know, man. Come on, that's after the show's done.
No, but like honestly, we just connected from that day on. We just
Amazing.
the one thing about Jonathan that I can say is that he wears his heart in his sleeve, you know, and he makes it easy to have men's conversations that most people wouldn't be comfortable having.
Okay.
You know, he's very open about his life, you know, and the things that some people like to hide their demons. He likes to share them so that way in hopes that, you know, like he can heal from them.
Wow, that's
you know,
amazing.
and expose them. I think when you put light on the darkness in your life and you share it with others, like
For sure.
the light shines harder, if that makes sense.
For sure. The
You
transparency is very, very good. And I think that's going to take you like very, very far in life.
Yeah.
Okay. Follow-up question. Like just like for you, I guess personally, when it comes to music, like you do so many things. Like I was telling Jonah that I'm like, I know him from his like DJ Revelations, like YouTube thing. And he's also doing the show and now he's here. What's your favorite part of music and like, how did you get into it?
I personally love making beats. Right? I can make beats, like just sit in a room all day and make beats, get mad, you know.
Oh, so you do dabble in production. Yeah. Okay.
By the way, the song in the background right here, that's his beat.
No way.
Yeah, so obviously today, since you're here, you know, we had your music in the background, but usually...
Yeah, let's showcase.
It's usually his music in the background.
Oh, this is fire.
Sorry, go ahead.
You know, and I love making beats, but then I also discovered that I like talking to people. I like talking to people not just about the surface generic questions, you know. It's like getting down to the nitty gritty of the spiritual side of people's walks. Like I like that. I like
you're curious about it.
Yeah, you know, I genuinely care, and I just always feel like there's something that people can take away from people's walk.
1000%, so good. Yeah.
There's 1,000,001 people in the world trying to get that one spot in whatever sports, entertainment of some sort.
Yeah.
But like a lot of those people are just a shell. You know, they make it to those levels. You know, and I think that right now, before you take off, like this is important for people to get to know this side of you, because once you reach certain levels, it's not easy to have these conversations.
No.
You know, so I enjoy talking to people, but I love making beats.
I love that. Yeah.
I love making beats.
Oh, that's so good. I need to have another question for you because, like, I know we've been talking so much about myself, and sometimes it's a little cringy because I'm like, I don't like talking about myself.
Hey, we're here. That's what we're here for. Get
what
to
we're
know
here for.
Tatyana D'voce.
I know, but it's just like it's just weird sometimes, you know. Like, don't you feel it? Like, it's kind of weird to talk about yourself.
Yeah. Now imagine me doing a show like this, every week, and sometimes having to bring up things that I spoke about a million times in the other episodes. So I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Feels like we're talking too much, but
No,
okay.
oh my
We're good.
goodness. What are some like dreams that you have not already like accomplished? Like, is there a lot more that you want to do? I can't believe you have another business like detailing cars. I'm like, what does this man not do?
I think my biggest one has always been to have a family. You know what I mean? But I also do believe, and I've had these conversations, I think, with Mario and some other friends.
Yeah.
I believe that I need to continue working on myself, improving myself, getting closer with God.
Right.
Getting my health straight, my mental straight, my finances straight, everything. Because and obviously this, being married, the importance of having a good foundation and good structure. You know what I mean?
We could talk about that for hours.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that women don't have a lot to do with it. But yes, they do 100%.
Yeah.
But I believe, just my opinion, a lot of it falls on the man, right?
1,000%.
It's the man needs to be strong,
Yep.
all over, especially mentally as well,
Yeah.
and obviously faithfully. But when the man has, again, their struggles or their vices, unfortunately, if they don't know how to control that or deal with it, the surroundings will have to deal with it.
Yep.
Which has to do with, for example, with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've been doing this since I was 8 years old, and my surroundings, unfortunately, weren't the greatest. Not because my parents were bad.
Right.
They did the best with what they could, with what they knew, and they were also living life for the first time.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to balance, right? But it's
Yeah.
like, just like you said,
Sometimes
right?
I forget that. Sometimes it's like, like my parents actually were like babies, like trying to raise babies, and like they didn't know what they were doing. So we got to give them grace.
Yeah, because again, I've said it before, but if we have hard times now, when we have all the possibilities and resources now,
Right.
and platforms like this, imagine them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
With nothing.
with,
Like, what?
With literally nothing, right? So, I think that answered the question. Did I?
Yeah.
Good,
Your
good.
dream, like your dream is to have a family.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That part, yeah. So I just feel that I need to stay the course. I've had friends that have, especially now, these last couple of months, where they're like, Jonah, why aren't you talking to anybody? And this, like, my sister-in-law just tried to not hook me up, but she tried to do a blind date.
Matchmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
She was playing Cupid
she
there.
literally asked me, literally a couple days ago, and I'm like, damn, I've never been asked to go on a blind date.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't want to, but then
Yeah.
it's like I've said to other friends, I'm like, I kind of like where I'm at right now.
Amazing.
You know what I
like
mean?
you don't feel like ready to do that yet. Like you're working on yourself.
Yeah,
still.
yeah. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It doesn't mean that the door's closed, right?
Of course.
If somebody
Ladies, you can slide into his DMs at
No,
lady.
Corporación Azul.
No,
It's right
no,
there
no,
under
no,
his
no.
name.
But
No.
this is such a great like place. I feel like that you're in, like working on yourself is so important. I could, like I said, like I could talk about this particular aspect for hours. Not to go too much detail into my marriage or anything like that, but we have learned so much because we got married young, and just saying it bluntly, we weren't ready. And waiting till a little bit later in your life, but like you're ready, you're right with the Lord, and you're fully seasoned, like you're going to provide the best foundation and the best stability for your family, and they're gonna like thrive because you've done the work. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm so like, again, like so proud of you for doing that, because not everybody gets that. Not everybody understands, like, hey, like maybe I'm not right yet, like for a wife, right? And the deep work for men is not necessarily very like popular. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you guys maybe as men can maybe speak a little bit more on that. Like, do you guys feel like you have a lot of resources? Do you feel that maybe like the manly walk with God is a little bit more isolated than women? Because us as women, we're very community oriented, like we want to go on our girls trips and like talk all the time. But I don't know if you guys have that.
I just think there's a huge expectation to have it figured out, or to figure it out right away. Like, as we are walking, you have to figure this out now, because I'm depending on you.
Yeah. Yeah. There is a huge responsibility for a man. Like, I don't even want to like gloss over that at all. That's something that I learned, because we didn't know, and I don't want to like put too much pressure on us, because what we were just talking about, like our parents, like they didn't know what they didn't know, right? We didn't know, and I didn't necessarily walk into a godly marriage. So even though I said I didn't really want to talk about this, I'm like, you know what, let's just do it. It's just because there's people that can benefit from this, right? There's people that I'd love to just say, like, do not marry someone that you are unequally yoked with, because of the fact that like you're just gonna sign yourself up for trials and tribulations like the whole time. Something I have dealt with, but I'm very grateful because God was still able to like work on us. But the work that you're doing, and and I know like you're doing work as well, it's like it's very commended, because not many people understand the responsibility that it is to be a man, to have your mental health right, to have support systems that you can lean on when life is hard, when you have vices that like, hey, sometimes you need a buddy to be like, hey, I'm feeling like this and I need somebody to like walk me through this and walk in life. Some of the best advice I ever got from my church leader was, we were meant to do life together. And I feel like a lot of society focuses very much on like the I, and like I can do this and I can do everything alone, and that's not necessarily true. Like we really need people, and especially for men out there. Yeah, we need fellowship, 100%.
Yep. And again, this is another reason why I'm like, I need to get back onto the show. Number one for me,
Yeah.
and then also because just exactly what you said, right?
Yeah,
These conversations matter.
they do.
You know what I mean? And again, thank you for asking these questions. And thank you for obviously opening up and stuff. And
Of course.
yeah, it's.
I just feel like people need more awareness,
Yeah.
like men's mental health also matters, men's walk with God also matters. And, I do feel very proud that like we have a lot of visibility on like women's mental health and stuff like that, because it hasn't necessarily always been the case, but same thing for men. I firmly believe that, a Christ submitted man is like, a strong foundation for like a family. And it's just going to be a lot better for you to do it like from the get-go versus trying to do like what we did, where it was all backwards, and now we have to like break it all apart and rebuild from the beginning, because there's a lot of pain and suffering that comes with that, right? Where you can not necessarily avoid it, because you can't avoid pain and suffering obviously as like a Christian, but it could just allow for just stronger foundation, more peace.
Exactly. Damn, yeah. Again,
Do you guys have more questions?
Oh, we have a couple. We could
There's a
definitely
lot
keep
of
going.
questions, but it's
There's a
just
lot,
flowing here.
Right now
I love it.
we're on for an hour.
We're
and 50
vibing.
It's gonna be almost 2 hours.
Yeah. Oh my.
It's an hour and 52 minutes.
I believe it though. Like the last conversation I had with my best friend, like it was 4 hours.
Yeah, dude. Yesterday I was here till 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Till
like,
3 in the
that's
morning.
crazy.
3 in the morning.
Yeah.
But again, guys, for those in the chat, thank you guys for commenting. Shout out to Kali. Shout out to my uncle Freddie.
Gali, man, I haven't heard from him.
Sorry,
in a while.
Kalicha. My bad.
Yeah.
Before
Kalicha.
he beats me up in the comment section. But hope everyone's good. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you share the stream, like our page, like the Instagram page.
Yes.
Tati, in terms of music,
Yes.
because we're gonna wrap it up shortly. But
Of
in terms
course.
of music, what do you have in mind? Like, what are you working on? What's the next
Yeah.
step?
Oh my goodness, this is probably gonna be the first time that I announce this. Should I? Yeah, I might as well. I'm working on my first studio album.
Nice.
And
Okay.
this year, I mean, I started working on it already unintentionally. It was something that was part of like my story and the way that it's all gonna unfold. Like it's such a beautiful piece of work, and I'm just like excited about it. It's not done yet. Like we're still working on it, but this year. I had to announce it because it's like this year I'm taking a little bit of a step back from, performing and like festivals and stuff like that, because I need to focus on that and just try to put my, my story down. And part of the process of the album is very, very therapeutic. Like we're going into a lot of like some of the childhood stuff in a very creative way. Like it's not like I'm just like singing there and like, it's not like a journals thing, but we're processing a lot. There's a lot of family dynamics that are going to be in there. But we're going to process everything all while dancing. So that's like the theme. That's the theme. And I've also been working on a lot of fun, cool collaborations outside of the album. I'm collaborating with an artist. His name is Will Bello. That's Lenny Santos's artist.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's just crazy because I'm like, I don't even know how this happened. I just like started following him one day, and the power of social media, you know, like, and if you genuinely connect with someone, again, like those relationships matter. We became really good friends, and we're like, let's work on a song together. So that's gonna be coming out soon, and we're gonna be shooting a music video to that. And so yeah, just a lot of content, a lot of music.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
what's
thank
what's the favorite your most favorite song that you've written?
It's actually the most recent one that you guys don't even know about yet. And it's just it's been such a cool process because it's like every song that I put out at one point was my favorite. You know what I mean? Because but it's like that just means like we're just getting better, you know, and we're learning and we're growing. But this one that I just did, I think Mehdi posted, like, he's so funny. He posted like a little like snippet. He didn't post enough so people don't know what it's about or what's coming. But the bachata, yeah. No, the bachata is my favorite. It's it's an obsession that I've created around it. But again, it was one of the harder songs to write because it's like so deep, it's so true, it's so raw, you know, very vulnerable. But I'm like, what better genre to do it in freaking like bachata, like cortavena style, right? So that's my favorite song. But out of the ones that I have out, one of my favorites is still Mameo Déjame. Like it's just such a fun song to perform. There's a lot of emotion behind it. A lot of my fans still really love that song, so we still do it every time.
What's been your most favorite performance locally and internationally?
Ooh, that is such a good question. I have such a bad memory, and I feel really bad because I think my dad knows more of my performances that I've had than I have. But locally, I think my favorite performance would probably be the I think you did sound at this one too, the Miss America Latina, where I performed I think I performed merengue for the first time ever. It was 20.
Where was it?
It was one of the banquet halls.
Oh, Mirage?
Mirage.
When they were doing the award ceremony?
Yeah, the award ceremony. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That was my favorite performance here. And which is crazy because it's like it wasn't even like a full production. Like I didn't have dancers. It was just me.
Yeah.
But it's like I look back to this day and I watch that performance. I'm like, I was doing it, but I was having fun. I was having so much fun.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just nice to see that. Another one of like the performances that I really love is when I was like I think 9 or 10 years old. I opened for Los Tigres del Norte in Leamington.
Oh man.
By accident, but again, like it just talks to like you have to be prepared all the time. And I'm just like a little girl, like I watched this and I'm just like, why am I so like energetic and spunky? And it just like I love watching it because I'm just like that motivates me to just I'll constantly come back to like the person that had fun on there.
Yeah.
Like even though yes, sometimes it's a job, but sometimes it's like you really have to go back to that person that really loved doing it, because sometimes I'd be up there and I'm just like I'm exhausted, like I'm trying to bring the energy but it's just not there. And then I think about the little girl that like loved being up here and I'm just like, you're right, let's just do that, you know. So I love that one. And then I have one major international show that I still go back to because it was just so fun. I was singing at an urban fest in Ecuador for Las Fiestas de Guayaquil, and the crowd was so lit. Like the crowd was screaming every single song, and I still to this day I don't think I've had like that much adrenaline on stage like from that show. So I would love to experience that again. But yeah, those are my top three.
Nice. Mario, go ahead.
Thank you. I had a question. Like,
Yeah.
it sounds exciting. Like everything that you're doing, it takes a lot of work, a lot of effort.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be realistic here. You are married.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say one morning you wake up and you realize that something doesn't feel so right and you're feeling super nauseous and you realize you're pregnant.
Okay.
Would that slow things down? Like
What happens?
What happens
What
to
happens
Tatyana
next?
D'voce?
Stay tuned. No, I'm kidding. I've actually had very, very real conversations around this. There is this like, sometimes there's this nuance that like women either can't or can do everything. I have a very, very strong opinion of myself. Like when I do become a mom, I'm going to be very present. And not because I didn't experience that, but in the early years, I will be taking some time away. Not because I don't love music or anything like that, but it's just like, if that day comes and the Lord blesses me with a child, like I want to make sure that I'm very present. And then also take them through like, you know, the musical process as well. So I will take a break, but it won't be long. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so we're gonna do a couple of things.
Yeah.
Since this conversation is so awesome, and we're literally exactly on the 2-hour mark, I'm gonna do the sponsors again, and then I'm gonna ask 2 more questions, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
So let me just do this commercial stuff again before my buddy calls me and doesn't give me any more meat. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen.
Pause, bro. Pause.
Oh, sorry. My bad. Hopefully he's not watching. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you to my first official paid sponsor, Bradley Meats. It's a family business that's run by father and son. Carlo, thank you so much for being always present and always person. Oh, my OBS just disconnected. Oh no. Anyways, I'm gonna keep going because it says it disconnected just in case. But make sure you follow them at Instagram. Sorry, at Bradley.meats on Instagram. Oh, it's still okay. Hold on. Let me know if you guys are still present because it said it's disconnected. First time it's done that.
Yep, we're back.
We're good.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, guys. That's what happens when it's live. Anyways, going back to the show. Thank you guys for staying. Thank you again for tuning in. I'm gonna ask that
Yeah, thank you.
2 more questions. This question here is, what would you tell your 10-year-old self today?
I would say to young Tati that everything is going to be okay. I know the world right now feels very heavy and you feel lost and confused, but everything will be okay. Like you in the future will have a wonderful support system. You will be living your dreams because we're still doing music, and I still say every day, I'm like, we might not be at like what society says like is success, but like to me, I'm living my dream because all I wanted to do was sing, do music, get paid for it, and I get to do that. So you will be continuing to live music and love it, and that again, like your pain doesn't define you. So just you can hold space for both. You can hold space for being sad, but also joyful. And I get to live in that right now. So things will be fine.
Amazing. I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps.
I'm glad that I didn't cry because like anytime I think about my younger self, I literally have a song that's directly talking to my younger self, and I'm just like, I cry every time I listen to it because I think about the little girl, and like now obviously I have context and like I'm more mature, and I'm just like, oh, this is what was happening at that time and you didn't know about it. But I'm just like, oh, like if I could just be this person to all the other little girls, like maybe their lives might turn out a little bit differently, you know?
Yep, 100%. So this would be the last question for now unless something pops up.
Yeah.
So I always ask this question, but when I ask it, don't look at me, just look at the camera.
Okay.
If you want to speak to that person. But who is the most influential person in your life, and how did they impact you?
So I'm going to say person before I say spiritual, because the spiritual side is very important. The most influential person in my life is my mom. She is and will probably always be like the strongest person that I know. And even though we've had our like ups and downs and, mothers and daughters, like we fight and, there's a very hard dynamic that we've gone through because of like our trauma and shared trauma, that you are still like the most prominent person and the person that like I constantly like go back to in any situation that I have. So, you know, like today my car broke down. I'm like, let me call mommy. So it's like I really appreciate, you know, the unconditional love that like you have given me, and giving me space to process, our issues. And yeah, like you've shaped a lot of like my music. You've shaped me as a person, literally gave me life. So I have to be very, very grateful for that. And yeah, we'll be able to like work on our relationship soon. There's a lot of things that I have to work out, but I do appreciate it.
Beautiful.
Big up Mama D'voce.
Yeah, big
100%.
up, mommy.
100%, man.
Oh, I forgot to say, I mean, this is obviously important too, but like besides that, like, you know, Jesus is like the most influential in my life because of the fact that he saved me from myself. He saved me from so much turmoil. So I'm just like, I have to give that like recognition, because otherwise, you know, I'm not gonna feel good about myself.
Yep. Again, Tatyana, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for this.
I hope you enjoyed it. I did.
I
You know,
did.
I want to definitely keep going. But this is why we have part twos.
Part 2,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll come back and we'll revisit things and we'll talk about new things. I'm totally down.
Oh yeah, we'll
Absolutely.
definitely talk a little bit more about the spiritual world.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I think we should just dedicate one pod just to that, because there's
Mhm.
so much that I've learned, so much I still have to learn. But I'm just like, if you all don't know this, like, I want to share it.
Mhm. No, that's definitely, you know what? We could probably do something like that where we move around the whole room. Sorry, move the setup and
Yeah.
have you on here, have more artists or just people in general that
Yo,
are
Yeah.
Alex Veli's on the
100%.
on
Yeah.
this conversation about the
100%.
spiritual world.
Love
100%.
that. Yeah.
That'll be awesome. But again, Tati, thank you so much.
Thank
If
you.
you don't mind, just let the viewers know where they could follow you. You know, any things that might be coming up soon. You know,
Of
just let them
course.
know.
Yeah, of course. First of all, thank you guys so much for sticking around. I really do appreciate y'all literally just like sitting here listening to me yap forever. I appreciate you, Jonah, and over here, DJ Revelations, for just letting me yap. Be sure to follow me on all my social media. I'm just at Tatyana D'voce. You can find me on my website as well, TatyanaD'voce.com. There's a lot of new music coming out, so make sure you subscribe to my YouTube and, you know, follow me on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever it is that you use to stream music. There's a lot coming out. And I have to promote the new single because I just dropped Por el Mundo, another one of my favorites. It was just very nerve-wracking because I'm like, I don't know how people are going to take this, but I love it, and I make music for myself, and I'm jamming in the car, and I'm working out to my music. So go listen to it, and I just hope you enjoy it, and there's so much coming. So thanks.
Amazing. Mario, do your thing, brother.
Dímelo, thank you everybody for joining us today. Please like, subscribe to the channel, Lights, Camera, Accion. Please share it with at least one person that you think that would be able to relate to any of the topics that we discussed today. There is somebody that will definitely find some value. So please share it with somebody, no sea malito. You can follow me at DJ Revelations on Instagram and also my YouTube channel, Revelations TV. I actually just dropped an interview today that I had in the vault from the summer. It's with Robert J.R., so you can check that out over there as well. So thank you, Jonah. Thank you, Tatyana, for
Thank you.
the vulnerability and
Of course.
the transparency that you shared and showed today.
Of course.
I've been surrounded by
Thank
Ecuadorians like crazy lately, but it's been great.
Get used to it. Get used to
Yeah.
it. Anyways,
We're
ladies and
all
gentlemen,
family.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Lights, Camera, Accion. My name is Jonah Quintero. Thank you for being part of this journey of mine, and not even just mine, but everyone that comes on the show. We hope you guys have learned and taken in whatever you feel you need. This is something that we want to continue doing, and with the right intention, and bring awareness to things that I believe we should bring awareness to. And just thank you guys so much again for being part of this journey. And next week we're going to continue the month-long homage that we're going to be giving to all the wonderful ladies that are doing their thing here. And next week, just like I said yesterday, next week Tuesday, if I remember correctly, we have the boss lady from the Brampton Latin Association. She is also the founder of the Brampton Latin Fest. And this year we have something big coming up. Once everything is confirmed, obviously we'll talk about it. If it gets confirmed by Tuesday, we'll definitely say it. But yeah, it's been an amazing journey with them as well. On Wednesday, we have a owner of Limon Lounge over here by Keel and Highway 7. And on Thursday, we have two lovely ladies who opened up a food truck. delicious food, and they're just taking the world by storm. And I have all of them next week. So I'm going to keep doing this for the rest of the month. And I just hope and I thank you guys once again for being part of the show. And we'll see you guys soon. Behave. And if you're not good, give me a call. Take care. Ciao.
Pray before you go to bed.
Always. Si no, pow pow. Later, guys.